Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you guys how I make some delicious bean pupusas. So in case you guys want to learn how to make them, just stay tuned and I'll show you how. Alrighty guys, so let's get started with our ingredients. So for this recipe we're going to need 4 cups of instant corn masa flour, 3 cups of your choice of beans, 10 ounces of queso Oaxaca, a half of a purple onion, 2 cups of shredded carrots, 1/2 of cabbage, 3 jalapeño peppers, and these are optional, 6 Roma tomatoes, 2 garlic cloves, vegetable oil, oregano, salt, and a half a cup of white vinegar. So these are our ingredients. Now let's get started. Alright guys, so first we're going to start by refrying our beans. We need our beans to be cold by the time we are ready to use them. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of oil in my medium frying pan. And I'm just going to wait for that to heat up. And then we can add our beans. And like for me, pupusas are similar to gorditas. So like every gordita, you know, you can stuff them with your choice of filling. Pupusas are the same way. So for me, my favorite are the ones with bean and cheese. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're just going to wait for that and then we can proceed to the next step. Alright, so earlier today, I made my beans. I already have a video on how to make them. I'll leave it in the description box. But if, you know, whatever works for you, that's the beans that we're going to be using. You can always use canned, you know, refried beans, but these are just my favorite. So you can see they're still hot. So we're only gonna use 3 cups of just beans, okay, and about half a cup of the juice. Like I said, we need our beans to be cold and we need them to be dry by the time we are ready to stuff our pupusas. All right, so once our oil is ready, we're going to add our beans. And mine still have the garlic and the onion. And I'm going to add half a cup of the juice. Alright guys, so my beans are hot. Like I mentioned, I just got done making them. But if your beans are cold, just wait for them to heat up a little before you smash them. So I'm going to use a cup, just because for me it works better. So I'm going to use my cup, just so like that I can reach the right consistency that I'm going for. So we want them to be completely smashed. Alright, so once our beans look like this and they're beginning to simmer, we're going to turn it off and set them to the side so that we can allow them to cool down. Alright, so while we wait, we're going to start working on our tomato salsa. So in a medium saucepan, we're going to place our tomatoes. Now the jalapeños are optional. Most places where you go and order pupusas, they give you that tomato salsa and it's not spicy. So for me, I like to add 2 jalapeños. And now we're just going to cover it with water. Set it on medium-high heat and allow for that to come to a boil. Alright, so once our tomatoes look like this, we're going to transfer our tomatoes and jalapeños into the blender. Alright, so transfer your tomatoes along with the jalapeños. We're going to add our 2 garlic cloves and salt. I'm using 2 teaspoons of salt, but of course the salt is going to be up to your liking. So now we're just going to blend it all together until we have a smooth sauce. Alright, so once everything's blended, we're going to transfer the sauce back into the saucepan. Alright, so in the same saucepan, I'm going to set it on medium heat. I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of oil. And once that heats up, we're going to add our salsa. Alright, so once our oil is hot, we're going to add our salsa. And we're going to add our oregano. So squeeze it. And now we're just going to wait for that to come to a simmer. Try it for salt. And this is our tomato salsa. Perfect. Alright, so once our salsa looks like this and it's already simmering, we're going to turn it off and set it to the side. Alright guys, so now we're going to make our curtido. So basically our coleslaw. So now we're going to grab our cabbage. And this is a small cabbage, so I probably use the whole thing. If you grab a big cabbage, then you can use, you know, just half of it. So see how much Okay, so just make sure that you get it as fine as possible. Alright, so once we have our cabbage, we're going to transfer it into a strainer. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my onion, just half of the onion, and do the same. Okay, so grab your onion and cut into half moons. Alright, so just break them all into small strips like that, and then transfer it into your strainer as well. Alright, and because I like spice in my curtido, I like to add 1 jalapeño. Like I said, the jalapeños are all optional. So I'm just going to do the same, split it in half, and then cut them into thin strips. And you can remove the seeds if you want to. I'm just going to keep them in there. Maybe just remove them. Okay, so cut it like that, and now I'm just going to cut it in half. And I'm going to add it in my strainer as well. Alright, so I'm also going to add my 2 cups of shredded carrots in my strainer. And if you can't find the shredded carrots, you can always use 2 to 3 carrots and just chop them yourself. Alright, so now I'm just going to rinse all of my vegetables. Alright guys, so next we're going to boil enough water to cover our vegetables in the strainer. Okay, so now for me it's going to be about 8 to 10 cups, and this is the bowl that I'm going to set it afterwards. Okay, all right, and this is what I'm talking about. So make sure that, because we're going to boil some water, and then after that we're going to place our vegetables with that boiling hot water. Okay, so just like that. So make sure that it covers like that. All right guys, so here I have the water that we're going to bring to a boil. So once that comes to a boil, we're going to continue working on our curtido. Alright guys, so once your water begins to boil, we're going to carefully pour it on top of our vegetables. Okay, so just mix them around and make sure that they're fully covered with their boiling hot water, okay? So now we're just going to let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Alright guys, so I let my curtido sit for about 10 minutes just because I like it to be crunchy. But if you don't want it to be crunchy, you want it to be more soft, then just let it sit for a couple more minutes. Or, you know, for 15 minutes. So now I'm just going to remove the water, or remove my curtido from the water. Just make sure it's completely drained. In a bowl, I'm going to transfer my vegetables. I'm going to add half a cup of the white vinegar. You can add a whole cup, but for me personally, I don't like the whole flavor of vinegar, so for me, half of it is just good. So I'm going to add the other half with water. So the other half is going to be with just water. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of oregano. So just break it down with your hands like that. And I'm going to add half a tablespoon of salt. And of course, it's going to be all to your liking. You can adjust, you know, the flavor. This is how I like mine. You know, just mix it all together. And you can try it to see, you know, if you like it, or you can add more salt. Right now is the perfect time. Okay, so once you have it all mixed, you can transfer it to a mason jar, because we're going to let it sit for about 20 minutes. The longer you let it sit, the better. But for 20 minutes, it's going to be good for us right now. So I'm just going to cover it and let it sit. All right, so now we're just going to shred our queso Oaxaca. If you can't find this cheese, you can use whatever, you know, preference. For me, this is the best one. All right, so once we shredded our cheese, we are ready to work on our pupusa dough. All right, so now for our dough, we're going to transfer our corn masa into a large bowl. We're going to add our salt. The salt is going to be up to your liking. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. So just mix it like that. We're going to use between 3.5 to 4 cups of warm water. So make sure that you're adding it slowly. And it's better to leave your masa a little dry than super sticky. And you want your dough to be this consistency. If you're able to grab a piece of dough and roll it and make a little ball like that without falling apart, that means that your dough is ready. So now just knead for 5 minutes. All right guys, so while you're kneading, you can preheat your griddle or your frying pan on medium heat. All right guys, so once we're done kneading, we are ready for the fun part. So this is what our beans look like once they're nicely cooled down. So now we are ready to stuff and make our pupusas. All right guys, so once we're ready to make our pupusas, we're going to dip our hands into the water. So just a little bit. Okay, so rub the water in between your hands. Now we're going to grab some dough as big as a baseball. Okay, so now we're just going to create a little ball. Okay, just like that. So now we're just going to flatten it out. So use the tip of your fingers and just flatten it out. And it doesn't have to be perfect just yet. Okay, so once it looks like that, we're going to press, using our fingers, we're going to press it down to create kind of like a little basket. Just don't go too down, otherwise you're going to make the bottom very thin. So use the edges and continue pressing. Okay, just like that. Okay, so once we have our little basket, we're going to add our stuffing. Add enough beans. For me, this is fine. And then your cheese. Okay, so I like to have a good amount of stuffing. Okay, so once you have it like that, just press down your filling. And now we're going to close it. Okay, so just close it like that. It's going to look like a little flower. So using your fingers, grab the excess dough, and your dough is going to look like this. Okay, so now shape it back into a pretty ball. Okay, see? So be gentle and just rotate your little ball in your hands, just so like that it can be perfect little round ball. Okay, so now I'm going to dip my fingers into the oil. You can use the water if you want. For me, the oil just works better on repairing the cracks that our dough creates. So just dip it a little bit and then rub it in your hands. Grab your bowl, and now we're going to flatten it out. Okay, so clap your hands slowly like that. And as you're clapping, you're rotating your ball. Okay? And then stop a little, stop in between just to fit. So stop in between just to fix any imperfections or any cracks that we're creating. The oil makes it super easy to repair the cracks. See? Okay, so just keep working. So just clap your hands and rotate. Cracks are going to happen. It's okay. Just fix them as you go. See? So just fix them. You don't want to keep going because otherwise the cracks are just going to open even bigger and bigger, and then all your filling is going to start coming out. Okay, so just clap and flat. Clap and then use your, and I'm using the palm of my hand to flatten it out. As you can see, that happens. Grab a little bit of oil and just fix it. And now these pupusas, they are flat. They're not, opposite of the gorditas. We want them to be a little thick. This one, we want them to be as flat as possible without the filling, coming out of the dough. So just work until you get into that thickness. I mean, if you don't have a problem with cracks, then you're going to be the one eating them, you know, so it's okay. Me, I like them to look pretty, so I like to, you know, take my time. So that's the bottom. And as you can see, there's little cracks. It's okay, just go back and fix them. Okay, so this is my pupusa here. So just keep working them, you guys. The first one is not gonna come out as perfect as you want them to, so just keep practicing and keep working them. Okay. So just flatten them out as you rotate them. Just like that. Okay, so now we are ready to cook them. Alright guys, so in our frying pan or a griddle, we're going to drizzle some oil. So just like that. And now we're going to place our pupusa. And we're going to cook that for 3 to 4 minutes on each side, or until they turn into a beautiful golden color. Alright, so after 3 minutes, I'm going to flip it over and cook that for another 3 minutes. That's what they look like, so they are ready to come out. So now we're just going to repeat the process until all of our pupusas are cooked. Alright guys, so once our pupusas are done, this is what they look like, and this is how you can plate them. Alrighty guys, and now for the best part, the taste test. So here's a pupusa. Let me show you guys. Still a little hot. But look at that. So perfect. And of course, you know, you're gonna eat it however you like to eat it. So I'm just going to grab my salsa here, dip it, then add my curtido, top it like that, and enjoy. These are just so delicious. Everything, you guys, is seriously perfect. The salsa, the curtido, the pupusa, the best. Alrighty guys, and there you have it, how I make some delicious bean pupusas. I hope you guys had enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and if you recreate this recipe, please don't forget to tag me on any of my social medias, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button so you guys can be part of our family. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, no, no. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel, tú tienes el piquete. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Eres perfecta.